Hey everyone, this is Martin, and we are up to day 5 on our Back to the Land, Build Yourself a Roadmap Journey Back to the Land series that we're doing. And before I get started on it, I want to make sure that it's a 30-day series, and so you don't miss any of it, go down, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, switch the notifications to all. That way you'll make sure to get all of these. You know, when you get done, if you don't like them, you can go ahead and unsubscribe them. But in the meantime, make sure you do that. Second thing I want to do is let you know that we had written a companion book to go along with the video series. We started doing the videos and then realized that, you know, we really need to fill it out a little bit better. So we did a book called Back to the Land, Building Your Roadmap to Self-Sufficiency. And the book is available on Amazon, or you can get it from us. If you want to get it $3 cheaper than Amazon, you can go ahead and down in the description down below, you can find out how you can order it from us and get it a little bit cheaper. What the deal is on that is that we had ordered up a set of them, a box of books that were that had preliminary editing done on them, but not final editing, so there's typos in it. So if you want to get the typo version, you can get it for $3 less. Anyway, that's down there. So let's get started. Day number 5. And we've covered this just a little bit. We've touched on it in previous days here, but today we want to go further and deeper into, you know, defining your land requirements, because buying a piece of land for a Back to the Land movement or journey. Oh, there's my wife. She just came up from behind. Oh, hey, say hi.
Hi everyone.
Yep. So anyway, you know, the land is kind of the centerpiece of your Back to the Land journey. And so deciding what you want that to be is kind of an early first step that you needed. Even if you're not going to be buying the land right away, you need to start getting a fix on what that needs to look like. You're at point A, getting onto your land is your point B, and you need to kind of know what that point B needs to look like. And so I am really close to this fire today because it is chilly out here. So anyway, so starting to, you know, some of the first things that you need to consider is, what is it that you want that land to provide for you? Do you want it to be, you know, I guess you need to decide things like climate, location, states, maybe what are the best states for off-grid kind of thing. You might even want to consider what some of the best states for lowest cost of living. I suppose you could go with the highest cost of living, but those are all considerations that you need to take into, that you need to think about. And so, for example, like if your plan is for your land to be completely off-grid, and you want to do that without any hassles from local governments or state governments or things like that, you might need to find out what state has the most favorable laws towards off-grid living. And if you're someone that also wants to have sweeping vistas of Rocky Mountains out of your back window, and it turns out that Kansas is the best state for off-grid, and I don't know that it is or that it isn't, but I'm just using it as an example. If you find out that Kansas has the best laws for off-grid living and Colorado doesn't, but it has the big sweeping grand views of mountains and all of that, you know, which one of those are you going to sacrifice? So those are questions that you have to ask yourself. Do you like cold weather? Do you like warm weather? Do you like something in between? We're here in southwest Missouri, and we kind of get a mix of all 4 seasons here. It's mild enough in the wintertime to tolerate. We moved here from farther north where the winters were brutal, and I didn't like that a lot. And so this works well for us. So those are some of the considerations that you're going to have to start working on early on, is to figure out exactly what that needs to look like. And then as you do that, you can start to pinpoint regions or areas that you think that you might want to research land. You might find that, you know, the most ideal thing for you is going to be in an area that, now my legs are getting warm, is going to be in an area where land is completely unaffordable. And you may, you know, you may be looking for, affordable land is the primary driving force behind what you're doing. And if that's the case, I mean, using Missouri here as an example, we're in Southwest Missouri. We're not too far from a place called Branson. If you're familiar with Branson, you know that it's a tourist center or a tourism center, and land, until you get out about 15 miles from Branson, land is astronomical. You can't really afford anything close in because there's such a high demand for it. We are about 25 miles away from there, and it still was a little bit expensive here. You go 50 miles to the east of us, and it's actually really reasonable. Or if you go another 20 miles to the south, down into Arkansas, it's fairly reasonable down there too. So those are all factors that you're going to have to take into consideration. Then when you start doing the search on that to get a fix on, what kind of prices you're going to be dealing with, you can get on some national real estate sites, like Zillow is one of them that we use a little bit. Realtor.com is another national site that we use. There's lots of other ones out there. People will say that other ones are better, and I have no doubt that they probably are. I don't typically use national real estate sites that much, but if you're going to be looking outside your area that you're in right now, you may have to do that for a little while anyway, to start figuring out what are some of the benefits from different areas around there. So land requirements, you may, if you're going to be heavy into agriculture, you would not want to be in a place like where we're at right here, because we got rocks and clay, and it's just it's not suitable for large scale agriculture. It's suitable for a lot of other things, but not necessarily agriculture. It's very nice for being isolated. Okay, and so that was important to us. We wanted to be out where we were going to be completely kind of isolated from everybody and everything, and not have to think about who the neighbors are, although we've got some really good neighbors here. But that was important to us, and you need to find out what's important to you. If you like, I mean, there are people that really like cold weather. I don't get that, but there are people that like that. So, this wouldn't be, we get into the 100-degree range down here, so you'd be maybe looking farther north. Whatever those land requirements are, you need to start defining those a little bit so that you can start doing some searches that have some meaning to them. And then, I mean, you're going to have to, at some point, kind of start pinpointing what kind of a dollar value that you're going to be working within, so that you know what you're going to be able to afford based on where you're going to be wanting to go. Anyway, so that's it. Start learning, start pinpointing your land requirements, start doing some searches on them. If you already know the region that you're going to be in, get a realtor website and start doing a local search for that local area. And I wouldn't necessarily even contact a realtor yet unless you're ready to start actually doing getting to the point where you're ready to start looking at seriously buying something. All that will do is that will kind of connect you up with a realtor that you may not actually end up wanting to be connected to. But you can get on their sites and do searches. They all have access to the same information, the same properties on their multi-list system. And I know a lot of people look at realtors kind of like used car salesmen, and you can find the ones like that. You can avoid them though. And then but as you search those local sites, you can start getting an idea of what kind of values they're going to be. Another thing that you need to be looking at, though, I should mention also, is that when we bought this place down here, we bought raw land. It was nothing here. And we even had to cut the road in we had to cut our driveway in from the road to get in here, which meant, cutting trees and leveling roadways out and pulling stumps and putting down rock and all of that kind of stuff. It's cheaper, I think, in the long run if you can actually buy something that has structures already on it and infrastructure already there, like a well or things like that. We had to put all that in here. If you're looking at financing, buying property that already has a house on it is easier, and in the long run is probably cheaper than starting with raw land and building everything yourself. The benefit of the raw land thing is you can probably get into it cheaper to start with. It'll probably end up costing you more to develop it out, depending on how you do it, I guess. If you build it with repurposed materials and things like that, then maybe you can do it cheaper. But in the long run, it's easier to finance something that already has a house on it if you're planning to do that. If you want to just get on the land and then start building it out from there, the initial price will be less, but it's more difficult to finance. So you're going to be looking at doing more cash into the thing. If your plan is to do all 100% cash, then there's no problem. But if you're planning to finance it, you're going to be looking at spending probably about 50%, anywhere from 30 to 50% as a down payment on raw land, versus maybe as little as 10% down on land that's got already a house on it. So anyway, a lot of considerations to think about, and but start fleshing out the description of the land and what that's going to look like as far as making your getting ready to do the research on land purchases. Now, starting tomorrow, let me see what we've got on the list for tomorrow, because I think it's starting to build up land purchase funds and a whole bunch of things that we have done over the years to build money up. Yeah, okay, so day 6 tomorrow is going to be start building your purchase fund. So to me, that's kind of an exciting one, because it starts giving you some hope that, you know, this really can happen. And so want to see you here tomorrow. And remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and a share, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. See you next time.